We're continuing our series of videos on trigonomic identities. This is number 12. I know in the last one I said that one was number 12, that was number 11. This is the real number 12. Alright, now I'm going to let you in on a little secret. This is a unit circle. That's not the secret. The secret is, that if you start drawing your angles counterclockwise, they'll be positive. If you draw them clockwise, they'll be negative. In other words, if we were to draw a line like this and say that's 45 degrees, that would be 45 positive degrees. This angle right here is a positive 90 degrees. And tonight we're going to pretend, okay, we're going to imagine that this line here represents 150 degrees. Now, I know what's going to happen. Somebody's going to pull out some piece of paper and say, I'm going to show you a real 150 degree angle, and they'll show it. Fine. That's 150 degrees. But tonight we're going to pretend that this is 150 degrees. This is probably more like 120 rather than 150, but we're going to pretend anyway. Alright? So, we're pretending that this is 150 degrees. This is a positive 150 degrees. Why is it a positive 150 degrees? That's because we're going counterclockwise. This is a negative 150 degrees. Why? Because we're going clockwise. Alright, now, if you notice here, and I don't think that x-coordinate's correct, probably not, but if you notice here, that negative 3 over 2, well, it's actually negative back up, this is a negative square root of 3 over 2. It is exactly the same as this coordinate, which is a negative square root of 3 over 2. Now I'm going to check my notes here real quick, because I think I've made a mistake. And I know somebody's going to call me on it. Yep, I did. So, before you call me on it, I do tend to make errors from time to time. Okay, so let's fix that. This is a negative square root of 3 over 2. This is also a negative square root of 3 over 2. This is a positive 1/2. This is a negative 1/2. Okay. So, the cosine of a positive 150 degrees is exactly the same as the cosine of a negative 150 degrees. How do we know that? Because the negative square root of 3 over 2 divided by 1 is still a negative square root of 3 over 2. So this works out whether you're in quadrant 1, 2, 3, or 4. Now there's one other secret I have to tell you, and I'll tell you that in the next video. But at this point you know that if you take this all the way to 180 degrees, that positive 180 degrees, whatever your cosine is going to be the same as your negative 180 degrees. So the cosine of negative A equals the cosine of A. Now, the next question is, okay, what about acute angles in quadrants 2 and 3? Good question. I'm going to tell you the answer to that in the next video. And believe it or not, I know what you're assuming, and you're assuming correct. Because if you're assuming that the cosine of this angle and the cosine of this angle are exactly the same, they are. But I have to show you that in a extended proof. Okay? That'll come in episode number 13. So at this point you know that a positive 150 degrees and a negative 150 degrees is going to have the same cosine. Even if the sine here is different, the cosine is not. So, whew, now you got it. I will tell you more in a future video. Stay tuned.